From motorcycles to spaceships, vehicles have been a huge part of LEGO ever since the very beginning. As any gearhead will tell you though, having the right vehicle is only half the equation, as even the most powerful roadster out there is useless without the right fuel. For more than 30 years, there's only been a single source of energy in LEGO City, Octan. But what is Octan? Where did they come from? And how did they gain a complete monopoly in LEGO, from city to space and beyond? This is the story of Octan. While the earliest LEGO trucks predate the modern brick by several decades, by the mid-1950s the then new LEGO system had proven to be a smash hit, and the company was rolling out a wide range of cars, trucks, fire engines, and more to help builders populate their rapidly expanding cities. Alongside all of these vehicles, LEGO also began rolling out a series of sets based around Esso, an American oil and gas company that emerged from the breakup of Standard Oil in 1911. Originally called the Standard Oil Company of New Jersey, this company renamed itself to Esso in 1926. If you're not familiar with Esso, you should know that this is the same company that would eventually rebrand again to Exxon in 1973. For over 10 years, Esso was the sole provider of oil and gas to LEGO City, but that all changed in 1966 when LEGO released the Shell service station and the Mercedes Shell tanker. In total, LEGO would release a few dozen sets under the Shell license until 1992, though we would get a handful of small promotional sets in 1999, as well as a line of Ferrari sets that featured the Shell branding in 2012 and 2014. It's worth noting that until 1986, LEGO didn't release any of these Shell sets in the US due to licensing issues. Instead, during that time, the American market got slightly modified versions of the Shell sets featuring Exxon branding. In the end though, there were only ever 4 of these Exxon sets released between 1978 and 1984, with Shell eventually replacing Exxon in US sets until 1992. These days, these old Exxon sets are quite rare, and a sealed copy of the Exxon gas station can sell for more than $2,000 US. But then in 1992, everything changed when LEGO released the iconic Gas and Wash Express, introducing fans to a brand new company. This 472-piece build was a fine addition to any LEGO City and came with enough parts for a car, a tow truck, a few gas pumps, and the building itself, although the interior was almost completely empty. While the set itself wasn't enough to blow fans away on its own, it did feature a brand new logo plastered all over the place, Octan, instantly recognizable by its bold red, white, and green logo. This was something that LEGO fans had never seen before, and left many wondering where this new company came from, and why this wasn't a Shell or Exxon station. For nearly 40 years, LEGO had been using real brands in its city gas stations as a way of lending the sets a bit of authenticity by allowing builders to recreate an accurate rendition of their own hometown. This was certainly a nice touch, but this authenticity came at a price, literally. Starting in the 1960s, LEGO entered into an agreement with Shell, a company that was mostly well-liked by society at the time. While the specifics of the deal are lost to time, it's all but certain that the agreement required LEGO to pay Shell either a licensing fee or a cut of the profits. Whatever the terms, by the early 1990s, LEGO had decided that its deals with Shell and Exxon were no longer worth it, though they wouldn't drop the agreement entirely. LEGO and Shell remained partners until a public relations disaster in 2014, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll discuss that a bit later. While saving money is undoubtedly a part of the story, it's also widely speculated that LEGO wanted to ditch official brand tie-ins for LEGO City in order to retain complete control over every aspect of the set's designs, functions, and marketing. Personally, I do think that this is a far more likely reason for the split. Saving money was just icing on the cake. We all know that LEGO is super protective of its image, and with City, or Town as it was still known in the 90s, being such a major flagship line, using their own fictional brands made a ton of sense. It's also very possible, as I'll discuss in a bit, that LEGO was worried about potential bad publicity should one of their brand partners get into a bit of hot water. So, for one reason or another, LEGO created its very own oil and gas company, calling it Octan, which is simply the Danish word for octane, a chemical added to gasoline to increase its performance in engines. Upon release, many people assumed that Octan was either another real company or that Shell had perhaps rebranded. After all, every other gas station that LEGO had ever put out had a real company logo. Even to this day, there are some people who think that Octan is real. Sadly, it's impossible to find any Octan shops outside of the LEGO universe. Throughout the 1990s, LEGO leaned heavily into Octan as the go-to business for just about everything. As we saw in the LEGO movie, these guys make good stuff. Music, dairy products, coffee, TV shows, surveillance systems, all history books, voting machines. Wait a minute, does Octan make everything? Well, kind of. Although Octan is portrayed in the LEGO movie as a global conglomerate making literally everything, in LEGO sets they seem to be almost exclusively an energy company. One that sponsors a huge amount of races and stunts, so something of a mix between Shell and Red Bull. But in that realm, Octan is truly unmatched. Over the 1990s, we got several Octan sets every year, with a decent selection of gas stations, tankers, trucks, race cars, planes, boats, and more. And the brand became a key part of countless childhood memories, even showing up in a few Duplo and Technic builds. While Octan has always been most closely associated with LEGO Town and LEGO City, it seems that the company wasn't happy with just such a limited role, and their products began popping up all over the place. A little closer to home, the A-Frame Cabin is a recent fan favorite set from 2023 that has a handful of clever hidden secrets and references to other sets that I've covered a few times before, but one little detail that's often overlooked can be found out back. Right next to the shower, we can see a small generator hooked up to the house, and we can see a very familiar color pattern. In 2006, LEGO put out the Batcave, the Penguin and Mr. Freeze's Invasion set. This is a set that, on the surface, has absolutely no connection to LEGO City. If we zoom in a little on the bottom left though, we can once again spot something all too familiar. A single fuel tank with the instantly recognizable red, white, and green colors of Octan. Is LEGO City just a suburb of Gotham, or has LEGO expanded into the multiverse? A few years later, in 2012, LEGO released the Hulk's Helicarrier Breakout set with 389 parts and 4 minifigures. Off to the right, there's a cart of some sort that's carrying 2 somewhat suspicious tanks that are very clearly some sort of Octan fuel. Batman and S.H.I.E.L.D. both using LEGO City's most reliable fuel source does raise a few questions about just how connected all these themes are, but it gets even weirder. Returning to LEGO City for a bit, it seems that Octan isn't just limited to planes, trains, and automobiles, and the company seems to have its eyes set on expanding to a few strange new worlds. The Rocket Launch Center from 2022 is a super fun build and one of the better display sets that LEGO City has seen in a bit. If you know anything about rockets, you know that they need a truly tremendous amount of fuel. And of course, there's only one company that LEGO City engineers trust enough to fill that tank. In front of the rocket's main booster, we've got 2 red, white, and green fuel lines, but that's only half the story. On page 111 of the 3rd instruction booklet, you'll start putting together several pieces in the same color pattern, and you'll finish things off by adding a single sticker proudly displaying the Octan logo. On the front of this set's box, it says that the design of this build was inspired by NASA's new Artemis rocket. While this set is a remarkable recreation of the real deal, in 2024 LEGO gave us an even bigger, more realistic version, and was officially co-branded with NASA. The Artemis Space Launch System is an impressive, if slightly repetitive build, with 3,601 parts. While assembling the rocket on step 153, you'll find some all too familiar colors, with a little note stating, quote, "A LEGO rocket must be powered the LEGO way, of course. The stacked, rounded 1x2 plates inside the petrol station in front of the rocket have a long LEGO history. It seems that even the real world is powered by Octan when represented with LEGO bricks." But wait, there's more. It seems that Octan's reach extends far beyond our own solar system, and possibly even across time itself. 2024's Droideka was perhaps one of the year's best releases, with its 583 parts and matching minifigure. Much like NASA, it seems that even a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, the Galactic Republic was running on Octan. On step 34 of the build, you're told to stack 3 red, white, and green 2x2 plates, creating an instantly recognizable Octan symbol. Moving from the prequels to the original trilogy, the evil Empire still needed a reliable way to power its war machines, and there was no better option than Octan. Deep inside the UCS AT-AT, on step 658, you'll find 4 small power cells. To be honest, I never really thought about how these giant machines were powered, but seeing that it's just run by a typical oil and gas company is a little surprising. But that's the thing. Octan isn't just an oil and gas company. Not anymore. Back at the beginning of the video, I mentioned that LEGO and Shell split ways officially in 2014 following a PR disaster that would forever change how Octan operates. In 2014, the environmentalist group Greenpeace released an ad titled "Everything is Not Awesome," which showed an oil drilling site in the Arctic built out of Lego and featuring characters and music from the Lego movie. In the ad, the wilderness, characters, and wildlife are all slowly drowned in oil while a sad song plays in the background. The purpose of the ad was to pressure Lego to end its cooperation with Shell, as Greenpeace felt that the oil company's Arctic drilling was an environmental disaster. This campaign worked. The ad first aired in the spring of 2014, and in October of the same year, Lego announced that it would not be renewing its marketing deal with Shell. Further, it caused Lego to completely reevaluate Octan as a company and the energy infrastructure of Lego City as a whole. While 2014 saw several sets released with Octan branding, they were all tied to the Lego movie, where the company played the role of the villain. But by 2016, we started seeing Octan in a new light. 2016's service station was just one of several Octan sets based on the idea, but this one swapped out some of the gas pumps for electric vehicle charging stations. A few years later, in 2020, we got another set, also named Service Station, that even added solar panels to the mix. But these weren't Octan's first foray into renewable energy. As far back as 2009, the fictional company was already expanding. The wind turbine transport set was one of Lego's earliest attempts at creating some green infrastructure, and the set is a nice addition to any Lego city. And who did Lego choose to build that windmill? Why, none other than Octan, of course. As of today, Octan is the energy monopoly that controls the Lego universe. From its start in oil and gas to its renewable energy expansion into batteries for electric vehicles, like this electric bus, the Octan company is looking to continue its dominance for decades to come. So far, parts like these rechargeable batteries have only appeared in 6 different sets, but they run the full range from high-performance race cars to Arctic research labs. As Octan looks for new avenues in the energy sector, what do you think they'll tackle next? Maybe nuclear energy? We'll just have to wait and see. But one thing is for certain, Octan is not going away anytime soon. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to tap the like button below, and if you want to learn more about LEGO history, click on this video right now, in which I tell the stories behind LEGO's successes and failures that it endured during its early days. It's one of my favorite videos, so go check it out.